Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year, first of all. Welcome to Jerome in Real Estate. It has been probably about a month since I actually put out a YouTube video. I decided to do one today, and it's going to be about the 5 things I learned in my full calendar year of being a realtor, right? That was my first full calendar year after retiring from the Army. And I wanted to kind of just give you 5 things that I can take away very solidly about my first year. So I'll just jump right in. Number one, for me personally, I believe that activity is really key. And what I mean by that is that I'm constantly trying to be active in this industry, in this real estate industry. I'm trying to constantly get out there and do market analysis. I'm constantly trying to understand the neighborhoods. I'm constantly trying to visit different properties, whether or not I have clients visiting those properties with me. I'm actually going out. I'm trying to check out the homes. I'm trying to check out what they look like. I want to see what sellers are doing. I want to see what other agents are doing, right? I'm trying to conduct a lot of open houses. I'm trying to meet people. I'm trying to meet with buyers, sellers, and other industry participants because the more I get to understand their mindset, and that means buyers, sellers, right? The more I understand their mindset, the more I can relay that to my clients as to what is actually going on. It's one thing to understand numbers, like I said, trying to do market analyses, trying to do the CMAs and all that. But it's another thing to actually constantly be on the ground talking to people so you get a vibe of what's actually going on in specific neighborhoods, in specific areas in your cities, right? I'm constantly looking for positives and negatives. That way I can relay that when I do have conversations, and it bolsters my professional opinion of what's actually happening in my particular segment of the market, right? The number 2 thing that I learned is clients often have a more TV like perception of what a realtor or real estate agent does, right? What I mean by that is you'll look at these TV dramas, whatever, million agents or $1 million agents, and, whatever, they're selling all kinds of great properties, which is great, right? But it's very dramatic, and clients will get a sense that, oh, well, he's a realtor, so he's probably going to act like this, which means that the negotiations are going to be extremely dramatic, right? The negotiations pretty much don't have anything to do with the seller or the buyer. It's just the agent that's, negotiating all this and yelling at each other and making all types of, crazy innuendos, and it's just what I've seen is that they're in the back of clients' mind, they kind of have that TV perception, and they don't realize that they're the biggest part of the negotiation. Yes, realtors are there to advise and to guide, and to help keep you out of contractual danger, right? But it's still your show, right? You're in charge. You're the client. Okay. So you got to get that whole TV thing out of your mind. Good agents are working at the speed of the client. So when you watch TV and you see these realtors just up and doing everything, and they're just, soon as new information comes in, they run out and they do whatever they want with the property, or for the client and the client's best interest, but they didn't show the part where they needed to sit down or call their client and have a long discussion about what exactly is happening, right? And that discussion, usually if there's an issue, it's not going to last 5 minutes, right? So these are the things that I'm seeing that some people have in their minds, right? They forget, clients do, they forget that they are a huge part of this entire thing, right? Everything hinges on them. It hinges on you, the client, right? Number 3, everyone seems to feel that they're an expert in real estate. That is very interesting, right? Because I understand where that can come from, right? You're looking at your property alone. You're basically, maybe you're looking at your neighborhood sometimes, and you're looking at it's possibly Zillow that you're looking at most often, trying to check out, what things are going for and what you bought it for and what you should be able to get out of it. But that's just not the whole story, is it? Um, like I said on what I learned in the number one fact about what I learned. You've got someone like me who is constantly gauging market pricing, constantly gauging certain neighborhoods and that particular market in their city. That is an everyday activity that has to be done for you to truly understand what's happening. If let's say you're thinking about selling your house, and all you're focused on is what you can get for it, what you put into it, what you felt about that particular home and stuff, but you don't have any input from anyone else. You haven't been talking to buyers to understand what buyers are looking for now. You don't really understand how the market has changed, right? You're not doing comparative market analyses on a daily basis to try to understand what's been happening, right? So you're definitely not an expert. You definitely want to inform yourself, which is amazing, right? Definitely get out there and inform yourself. But part of informing yourself is understanding that you do need professional guidance, and it'll probably come from a realtor, right? So let's move on to number 4. Fear. Fear seems to be one of those things that definitely pops up, and it's palpable in pretty much every transaction, whether it's sellers or buyers, particularly buyers. If it's first time home buyers, then it's really palpable. Um, it is one of those things that in every aspect you can feel a little bit of the fear that is trying to cause stumbling blocks within the transaction. Um, so it's funny to me how people will fear owning things, right? And it's so crazy because you'll run up credit card debt at 20 plus percent, right? No fear. You will lease a vehicle, no fear. You'll rent from a landlord, right? Without ever having checking for radon or checking for mold or checking the foundation or anything like that. You'll just rent, no fear, kind of just trusting people, right? But when it comes to actually owning things, actually buying your own home, and it could be something like buying stocks as well, there's a lot of fear there for some reason. When people see that, okay, I'm about to own this, I'm about to take on the responsibility, all of a sudden the fear sets in, and it's like the steady, rhythmic beat of fear that they can't get over. And one of the things I learned over this past year is that one of my jobs is to try and help people to understand that fear, number one, and then maybe to overcome it. It's not my job to get you over the fear. I mean, that's your job if you're a client, right? I can't push you over the hump. That's going to be one of those things where, if you're one of those people that needs a lot of info to be able to get over the hump, yeah, I'm your guy, right? We're going to be able to get through that. But there are other things that cause fear. It could be much more deep seated than that. And it happens to everyone. But how many of us are going to be able to actually get over their fear of owning stuff, owning our own stuff and taking responsibility? I don't know, right? But I firmly believe that the more information you have, the better. The more you go through the process, take small little steps, contact a realtor, contact somebody to talk about what you're thinking with a property transaction. That may help, right? The more you actually get into it, the better it's going to feel, the easier you'll see that the process is. That way you can start owning your own stuff and not just being fearful, right? So, the last one that I want to talk about is, it's more like a question, right? The number 5 thing that I believe I've learned is, I kind of feel like the home ownership part of the American dream, it's fading a little bit. And I don't have an answer to this. There I have read quite a few articles, and there has been some data out that shows that, especially millennials, right now, they're kind of hesitant to own and start their own households, right? Actually, in pretty large numbers, they're starting to, fade away from trying to go to home ownership. They're moving back in with their parents, some of them. They don't want to form their own household. And part of this, obviously, is because of the mortgage rates and all that. The economic situation is changing. But what do you guys feel? Have you seen that maybe, that whole portion of the American dream is just a little bit lower than it used to be? It used to be that a part of accumulating wealth was to own your own home. That way you can reduce housing costs, you can build equity, you can gain long-term savings through it. And it's just better than paying for someone else's house through renting, right? That used to be just, everyone knew that, and they were working towards buying their own home. I'm not sure so much if that continues to be the case on large scale. I see a lot of data saying that it is changing, but it may pick back up again. Who knows? Nobody's got a crystal ball. But those were the 5 things that I wanted to share with you that I learned over this past calendar year. I hope your 2023 is going to be great. If you are someone who's kind of teeter-tottering, trying to figure out whether or not, this is the year you want to reach out and, get some information about purchasing a home, or you need to move or something like that, hey, reach out. I'm here. There are definitely other industry professionals that are here. Just start learning a little bit. How about that? We make 2023 the year of, you getting a little bit more information. That way you can make a solid decision and not be fearful. All right.